History of the heavyweight championship of the world. I know it's been a while, but let's review it. Of wrestling is the first chapter. They talk about how wrestling was done in the Bible era, oldest sport, 4,000, 5,000 years old. Alright, Frank Gotch, American hero, farm boy from Iowa, how he changed the sport of professional wrestling forever. Ed Strangler Lewis. Now, this is back in the era where wrestling was actually legitimately wrestling, and they were actually wrestling, grappling, and the winner would not be predetermined like it is today. NWA, Luthez, they talk about La Luthez. He was a revolutionary. He basically was the ultimate star in the 40s and the 50s. No one got more television exposure than Luthez. Buddy Rogers, they talk a lot about Buddy Rogers. New breed of champions, Gene Knitsky, Dory Funk Jr. This is basically the 60s champions. 70s world champions. They talk about all the great champions like Terry Funk and Harley Race and shit. Alright, Flair for the gold. Now, I know they talk a lot about Ric Flair. Great. They give credit what's due. They give credit where credit is due. Crockett's world champion, NWA to WCW. Now here's some bullshit stories right here. In this DVD, they changed history. And they make it up as well as alright. Ric Flair left the WCW, right? And went to the WWF. He took the belt with him, right? He took the belt with him, and then they said that the big gold belt was never in WCW again until 1994. You know what? They're wrong. They're wrong. Now, I understand how they don't have footage, how they will not tell us this, because they don't have footage of the Japan era. They don't have, Sting. Sting held the international championship. Muda, Rick Rude. 1992, they had the WCW championship, right? They say that's the big gold belt. They said that was originally the NWA championship. No, that is a completely different belt. Alright? That's a belt they got out of Florida. Alright? Completely different story, completely different era, So, WWE changed history. You know what, WWE? You pissed me off. I am not that retarded. I know my history. But, it's okay. WCW Rejoice, NWA, revolving WCW Championship. Another thing that pisses me off is, WCW had many crappy champions, and then they show a picture of Sid. What the hell? You had Sid as your champion 3 years before Survivor Series 96. What the hell, man? So basically, you're just calling Sid a bad WWE champion as well, aren't you? I mean, no offense to Sid. He may not have been the greatest champion. He may have not been the best physical athlete there is, but Sid paid his dues, and Sid, look what Sid is now. Look where Sid is now. I mean, he broken man. Alright, sorry. Let's continue. Undisputed Championship now. WCW is dead, so is bought by WWE. So now the World Heavyweight Championship's in WWE. World Championship returns. Brock Lesnar basically makes the WWE Championship exclusive to SmackDown. So then World Heavyweight title goes to Raw, and Legacy lives. So, alright. Documentary's okay. They did lie a bit. They did want to make you say, oh, bullshit. Alright. Matches. Pat O'Connor versus Buddy Rogers. Gene Snitsky versus Dory Funk Jr. Championship Wrestling from Florida. Florida Championship Wrestling, Jack Briscoe versus Terry Funk. Florida Championship Wrestling, Harley Race versus Dusty Rhodes. AWA, Ric Flair versus Magnum TA. Bash, Ric Flair versus Sting. That's an awesome match, by the way. Scott Steiner versus Ric Flair, Clash of Champions. Luger versus Barry Windham, Bash 91. Now, that's a funny match because the entire crowd's chanting, "We want Flair, we want Flair." Vader versus Simmons, Baltimore. That, and Saturday night, WCW, Vader versus Ricky James Steamboat. Those two matches is for the WCW title, not for this belt. Not for the heavyweight championship. Not for the NWA, which was originally the NWA championship. No, for the same belt that came from Florida. A completely different belt. So this belt should not, those matches shouldn't even be on here. Continue. Hogan versus Flair. Sting versus Hogan. Hogan versus Goldberg. Jarrett versus Booker T. Rock versus Chris Jericho. Now, this Bash at the Beach match was actually pretty good. Triple H versus RVD. Triple H versus Shawn Michaels. You know, who cares about the third disc? Third disc is, third disc. Alright. So, my final words on the DVD. It's a good DVD. I mean, I really like it. I like the documentary, kind of, until it got to the WCW. But to be honest with you, WWE loves making WCW look like a fool. The legacy of WCW, WWE just likes to make fun of it. I mean, legitimately, yes, they love to make fun of WCW for having bad champions like David Arquette and Vince Russo. To be honest with you, David Arquette was not a shitty champion, okay? He should not have been heavyweight champion, but he was not a shitty champion. Just because they should not have been champion does not mean that they're a shitty champion. But anyways, they like changing history, and only a couple of fools who don't know anything about wrestling will take it, will be naive and no, but I know my history, WWE. You lied. You're a liar. You're a cheat. And this DVD is good, but whatever. The matches are rare. Some of them are from Disc 1. They're rare. Disc 3 kind of, Disc 3 is Disc 3. Disc 2 has matches should not have been on there. One match it should have is Sting versus Flair, June 94 for the unification title. And so forth. I'm Network08, and that's my review. Rate, comment, subscribe, take care. Goodbye.